Okay, Year 3, today is our last lesson in improper fractions and mixed numerals. But we've learned a lot over the last couple of days while we've never worked with fractions bigger than 1 before. Whereas now everyone should be feeling fairly comfortable with it, I hope. Okay, here we've got a number line that goes from 0 to 10. Okay, and the first thing we need to do is to work out how it's been partitioned. So what is each of these going to be? Our whole numbers have already been put in for us, but we can see that between 0 and 1, it has been broken up into 2 parts. So that means that this marker here will mark a half, 1 part out of 2, because we have gone from 0 to 1. There's 2 parts in the whole, but we've only gone as far as 1/2 at the moment. Okay, we're going to count them. This is 1/2, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves, 5 halves, 6 halves, 7 halves, 8 halves, 9 halves, 10 halves. Let's just stop there. At 5, we were at 10 halves. And we could keep going all the way on to 10. Okay, that is how we would count if we were using improper fractions. But what about if we were to count using mixed numerals, when we've got the whole number as well? So every time we get to a whole number, we cash in our halves, we cash in 2 halves to convert that to a whole number. So we would count half, and then 2 halves are 1, so we would count that as 1. And then 1 1/2, and then we've got another 2 halves, so we would count that as 2. Let's start from the beginning. Half, 1, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2, 4, 4 1/2, 5, and so on up until 10. Okay, here we've got numbers from 0 to 7, and we need to find out what each of these markers mean. So it's been broken down into 3 parts. So each marker will be 1/3. So we're counting thirds. So the first marker will be 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Now we're at 3/3, so that is the same as 1 whole. So we're going to change it to say 1 and 1/3, 1 and 2/3, 1 and 3/3. Now we're at 2, 2 and 1/3, 2 and 2/3, 2 and 3/3, 3 and 1/3, 3 and 2/3, 3 and 3/3 is 4, and so on. Okay, still working on the thirds number line. This says that we are at 10/3. Okay, we can see if we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we have our 10th. That point is 10/3. Okay, how would we write that as a mixed numeral? Well, the whole number, the closest, the last whole number that we counted was a 3. And we have got 1/3 left over. 3 and 1/3. Okay. So again, we could count 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Then we change it to 1 whole. 1 and 1/3, 1 and 2/3, 1 and 3/3. Change it to 2 wholes. 2 and 1/3, 2 and 2/3, 2 and 3/3. Change it to 3, 3 and 1/3. That's what we've just done. Okay. Now we've got 20/3 up here. So again, we've got our number line broken down into thirds. We need to know that we've got two ways of doing this. If it's on the number line, we can say, well, that is the last whole number we had was 6. Now we've got 2/3 left over. The other way we could do it is to divide 3 into 20. So 3 goes into 20. 3 6s are 18. So we've got 6 here. So we've got 3 goes into 20. 3 times 6 equals 18. And then we've got 2 left over. So that gives us out 2/3. That's just another way of thinking about it. Okay. There's 15/3. Okay, still working in thirds because that's our denominator. And we've counted 15 of them up from here. So one way of looking at it is that we could just say that as 5. It's not even a mixed numeral, it's just a straight number. And the other way we could work that out is to divide 15 by 3, and we would still get that same number. How many times does 3 go into 15? It goes in 5 times. Okay, let's have a look at our step-in problem. What is the smallest mixed numeral that you know? Okay, well, to be a mixed numeral, it's got to be more than 1. Okay, so I'm assuming that these are tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've broken our number line down into tenths. And so from 0 to 10, each one of these, each marker will mark 1 whole. Okay. What is the smallest mixed numeral that you know? Well, it's going to be 1 and something very small. Okay. Maybe it's 1 1/10. Maybe it's 1 1/100. What is the greatest mixed numeral less than 10 that you know? Well, it's going to be right up here at a mixed numeral. So it's going to be something like about 999 tenths. Sorry, 99 tenths. Okay. So that's our step-in problem. It's fairly simple today. Let's have a look at the work in the book. Okay, there's our, so putting, in this case, you need to look carefully at the number line. Here's 0, here's 1, here's 2. Okay, always the first thing you do when you're working on a number line is to work out what the 2 furthest apart are, and then work out what the ones in between are. So in this case, we've got 0 to 1, and it has been broken down into 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know we're going to be working with quarters. Okay, this one will be the first one. So put in the number there for 1/4. And that would be 2/4, so this one would be 3/4. And then you're going to put in 1, because we're now writing it as a mixed numeral. Write the fraction or mixed numeral. So these ones are less than 1, so they will be fractions. These ones are more than 1, so they will be mixed numerals. Okay, and then this one again, we've got it broken from 0 to 1 to 2, and each position is 1, 2, 3, 4. So our denominator will be a 5 because we've got 5 parts. And then you need to say how many you've counted along there. Okay. Look at the number lines in questions 1 to 4, back on this page here. List the mixed numerals that are greater than 1 but less than 2. So put them all up here in this part. The numbers, the mixed numerals that are greater than 1, so it's got to be this side of the number line, and less than 2. So those ones in between 1 and 2. For these number lines, the distance from 0 to 1 is 1 whole. Okay, 0 to 1 is 1 whole. Draw a line to connect each fraction and mixed numeral to its position on the number line. So draw a line. Where would 1/4 go? It's going to be up higher than 1. So draw the line to where you think you would connect it. 3/4, it's not quite 1, so whereabouts would that go to? Again, you're doing the same thing for question 7. Use the number line and write sentences to explain whether 1/3 is less than or greater than 1/8. Okay, so draw the number line from 0 to 1. You might need to use coloured pencils to make a difference between, mark out where 1/3 it would be, break it down into 3 parts, and then break it down into 8 parts, and then explain whether 1/3 is less than or greater than 1/8. Okay, so now you're going to go and do questions pages 240 and 241 in your book.